Now to the assassination attempt in Butler, Pennsylvania. Former President Donald Trump surviving the attack. He is now sharing an updated statement on his Truth social network, thanking everyone for their thoughts and prayers and continuing to say, quote, "We will fear not, but instead remain resilient in our faith and defiant in the face of wickedness." Now let us explain what exactly unfolded. Shortly after 6 p.m., gunfire erupted at Trump's campaign rally. This is about 30 miles north of Pittsburgh. Secret Service agents moved in and immediately rushed him away from the scene. A bullet did graze Trump's right ear. Video shows blood on his face. The suspected gunman and at least one attendee is now dead. He has been identified as Corey Comparator, and 2 spectators were critically injured. Now let's take a look at how the shooting played out in real time, but we want to warn you, it may be difficult to watch.
Take a look at what happened.
The Secret Service did neutralize the shooter, who is now dead, 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks. They say he fired from an elevated position outside the rally venue. Serious questions tonight about security at that rally. Fox 5 speaking with an expert who says the questions are warranted. How was the shooter able to get so close and fire rounds towards the former president? David Kaplan joins us live from Capitol Hill, where we're likely to get more answers in the coming days and weeks.
Yeah, Sierra, and even months as well. I just wrapped up a conversation with someone who worked on the staff of the House Homeland Security Committee. More on that conversation in just a second, but we're going to see congressional inquiries. We've also heard from President Joe Biden today that he's ordering a review of the security procedures at the Republican National Committee as it pertains to all things Secret Service. He also wants an independent review of the security at the event in Western Pennsylvania where this shooting happened. But as we touched on, legislators also want answers. Thus far, Fox News is reporting that House Oversight, House Intelligence, as well as House Homeland Security are planning inquiries. I just wrapped up a conversation with Kyle Klein. He worked for about a decade on the staff of the House Homeland Security Committee. Key questions being raised right now. You just touched on them, Sierra. How did this lapse happen where the suspect could climb onto the roof of an adjacent building about 150 yards away, have a shot at the former president, and be able to fire his gun? That's some of the questions. Those are some of this security expert sort of walked me through. Now, Klein says that he is hopeful that these will be sober inquiries that relevant agencies learn from, while also advocating for civility in an age of heated political rhetoric.
We really want to hope that these congressional investigations take place in a totally bipartisan, apolitical manner, right? Politicians are going to be politicians, and it will be easy for people to try and frame this on either side of the aisle in a way that's politically beneficial for them. But we need to expect and demand that these investigations occur for the good of the country and for the safety and security of all of the officials that the Secret Service is charged or will be charged with down the road protecting.
Now, Klein sort of guessed that some of these inquiries could take months, if not years, and he does expect a lot of them. He says that ultimately, in his opinion, could be a good thing, that there are different agencies sort of tasked with looking at different components of this overall big picture of Secret Service protection and safety at political events. So certainly we're expecting that conversation on the Hill to heat up about these inquiries in the coming days. Fox 5 will stay ahead of those conversations as they happen. Sierra?